Let's see. Uh-oh. Excellent connection. Okay, so it is just a few seconds behind. Do we have sound though? Okay. That looks like it's really high. Okay, I'm going to pause that for a second. Okay, I'm sorry. We are losing a lot of space right here. No. No, do not stop the stream. Okay, so let's, we are in studio mode. We are playing a little bit with trying to go straight from the streaming to the YouTube. So I am going to do this. So I am only seeing me and not the like 9-second delay of me. But I can still see the chat. So we are just waiting for a few minutes. Came on early to play. And we have about 3 minutes left before I think it actually like goes live on YouTube. So that might be good. We'll get past the weird. So please bear with for just a moment and I'll be right back. Hi, I'm back. So should be about the time that everybody is jumping on. I hope you did not just watch a like full minute of just the moon, but if you did, it's the moon. Really. Who's going to be that mad? It's the moon. We love the moon in this house. We have a black kitty who is wandering the other side of the bedroom. I've opened the curtains to get just a little bit of natural ambient, I suppose, light. I don't know. Listen to me talk like I know what I'm talking about. That's why I need help. I need help. Lots of help. Because we're doing the thing. We're doing the thing, and my sister is here. And I know just enough to keep it going like this. But I'd like to make it better. For me, for you guys, for anybody new who might pop in, who may not know what our little Wednesday nights are all about. So, yeah, if you have some expertise in camera, I've got an OBS version, OBS Studio, on this computer. So if you are familiar with that and can help me kind of tweak it, make it better, make it look good, I'm here for it. So please, please, please. Or if you know somebody, send them my way. Yeah. It's going to be great, you guys. I am so excited about this. I hope you are too. I hope you look forward to our Wednesday nights as much as I do, because they've just been great. And to be honest with you guys, I'm skipping a story tonight. And I apologize. It's just been a busy week, and I know everybody has busy weeks. But I am skipping how Thomas Connolly met the Banshee, because again, it's one of the stories where it is told by someone with a very... it's written the way that it's spoken, and I apologize. I just don't know if I can do it tonight. I'm going to probably see if I can find an online version of it and send it to our friend who helps me with my pronunciation, on how some of these words are supposed to be pronounced, so that next week I can read it and read it properly for you guys. It won't be cold. I'm sorry. I will practice it. But the last one was awful. And I know I laughed my way through it, but it wasn't good. Trying to read it from the way it's spoken. And I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys good content, good stories you want to listen to maybe again later or share with somebody, because it was just a good story. And so yes, we are going to skip that one tonight. I apologize, but I wanted to say that in case anyone has looked up the table of contents for this book, you will know that we are not in order. So we are skipping that one tonight. The story we're going to read tonight is called The Wonderful Tune. And yes, I hope you guys enjoy it. I have just glanced at it enough to know that there was some poetry in there. So I tried to get kind of a feel, at least for the first poem, because it's quite long, of what it's supposed to feel like. So with that, with all of my ramblings, it's Wednesday. It's October. It's not October yet. It is September 17th. We have been doing this for several months now, and my heart always just skips a little beat when you guys say hey in the chat. So please do that tonight if you are here. There are definite audience changes that are going to be happening. So I hope you guys bring some folks with you next week or share it tonight. If you have not yet subscribed, please, it does help. Every subscriber is a little, hey, Katie, good job. And we all need a little, hey, good job. So here's mine to you. Good job. You taking a moment to sit down, just relax, just go with the flow for the next 30 minutes or so. So good job. I am proud of you for doing that. I know this is me stopping for 30 minutes and kind of going with the flow. So thank you guys so much for being with me tonight, and we are going to get started on our story. It is called The Wonderful Tune. Maurice O'Connor was the king, and that's no small word, of all the pipers in Munster. He could play jig and planxty without end, and Ullestrum's march, and the eagle's whistle, and hen's concert, and odd tunes of every sort and kind. But he knew one, far more surprising than the rest, which had in it the power to set everything dead or alive, dancing. In what way he learned it is beyond my knowledge, for he was mighty cautious about telling how he came by so wonderful a tune. At the first note of that tune, the brogues began shaking upon the feet of all who heard it. Old or young, it mattered not. just as if their brogues had the ague, and then the feet began going from under them, and at last up and away with them, dancing like mad, whisking here, there, and everywhere like a straw in a storm. There was no halting while the music lasted. Not a fair, nor a wedding, nor a patron in the 7 parishes round was counted worth the speaking of, without blind Maurice and his pipes. The mother, poor woman, used to lead him about from one place to another, just like a dog. Down in Iverig, a place that ought to be proud of itself, for 'tis Daniel O'Connell's country, Maurice Connor and his mother were taking their rounds. Beyond all other places, Iverig is the place for stormy coast and steep mountains. As proper a spot it is as any in Ireland to get yourself drowned, or your neck broken on the land, should you prefer that. But, notwithstanding, in Ballinskellig Bay, there is a neat bit of ground, well fitted for diversion, and down from it towards the water is a clean, smooth piece of strand, the dead image of a calm summer sea on a moonlit night, with just the curl of the small waves upon it. Here it was that Maurice's music had brought from all parts a great gathering of the young men and the young women. Oh, the darlings. For 'twas not every day the strand of Trafosca was stirred up by the voice of a bagpipe. The dance began, and as pretty as a rincafada it was, and as pretty a rincafada it was as ever was danced. Oh, sorry, guys. Brave music, said everybody, and well done, when Maurice stopped. More power to your elbow, Maurice, and a fair wind in the bellows, cried Paddy Dorman, a humpbacked dancing master, who was there to keep order. 'Tis a pity, said he, if we'd let the piper run dry after such music. 'Twould be a disgrace to Iverig, that didn't come on it since the week of 3 Sundays. So, as well became him, for he was always a decent man, says he. Did you drink, piper? I will, sir, said Maurice, answering the question on the safe side, for you never yet knew piper nor schoolmaster who refused his drink. What will you drink, Maurice? Said Paddy. I'm no ways particular, says Maurice. I drink anything, and give God thanks, bearing raw water. But if it is all the same to you, Mr. Dorman, maybe you wouldn't lend me the loan of a glass of whiskey. I've no glass, Maurice, said Paddy. I've only the bottle. Let that be no hindrance, answered Maurice. My mouth just holds a glass to the drop. Often I've tried it, sure. Cute. So Paddy Dorman trusted him with the bottle. More fool was he, and to his cost he found that though Maurice's mouth might not hold more than the glass at one time, yet owing to the hole in his throat, it took many a filling. That was no bad whiskey, neither, said Maurice, handing back the empty bottle. By the holy frost, then, says Paddy. 'Tis but cold comfort that there's in that bottle now, and 'tis your word we must take for the strength of the whiskey, for you've left us no sample to judge by. And to be sure, Maurice had not. Now, I need not tell any gentleman or lady with common understanding that if he or she was to drink an honest bottle of whiskey at one pull, it is not at all the same thing as drinking a bottle of water. And in the whole course of my life, I never knew more than 5 men who could do so without being overtaken by the liquor. Of these, Maurice Connor was not one. Though he had a stiff head enough of his own, he was fairly tipsy. Don't think I blame him for it. 'Tis often a good man's case, but true is the word that says, when liquor's in, sense is out. And puff, out of breath, before you could say, Lord save us, out he blasted his wonderful tune. 'Twas really then beyond all belief, or telling the dancing Maurice found he could not keep quiet. Staggering now on one leg, now on the other, and rolling about like a ship in a cross sea, trying to humor the tune. There was his mother, too, moving her old bones as light as the youngest girl of them all. But her dancing, no, nor the dancing of all the rest, is not worthy the speaking about to the work that was going on down on the strand. Every inch of it, covered with all manner of fish, jumping and plunging about to the music. And every moment more and more would tumble in out of the water, charmed by the wonderful tune. Crabs of monstrous size spun round and round on one claw with the nimbleness of a dancing master, and twirled and tossed their other claws about like limbs that did not belong to them. It was a sight surprising to behold. But perhaps you may have heard of Father Florence Connery, a Franciscan friar and a great Irish poet. Bolgadana, as they used to call him, a wallet of poems. If you have not, he was as pleasant a man as one would wish to drink with on a hot summer's day, and he has rhymed out all about the dancing fishes so neatly that it would be 1,000 pities not to give you his verses. Darn it! I could have skipped it and not told you guys about the poems. But now the narrator's going to make me. All right, okay. That it would be 1,000 pities not to give you his verses. So here's my hand at an upset of them into English. The big seals in motion, like waves of the ocean, or gouty feet prancing, came heading the gay fish, crabs, lobsters, and crayfish, determined on dancing. The sweet sounds they followed, the gasping cod swallowed, 'twas wonderful really. And turbot and flounder, mid fish that were rounder, just capered as gaily. John Dories came tripping, dull bake by their skipping, to frisk it seemed given. Bright mackerel went springing like small rainbows winging their flights up to heaven. The whiting and haddock left saltwater paddock, this dance to be put in, where skate with flat faces, edged out some odd places, but souls kept their footing. There's got to be a better way, but we'll get through it. I promise. I promise. Sprats and herrings and powers of silvery showers, all number outnumbered, and greatlings so lengthy were there in such plenty the shore was encumbered. The scallop and oyster their two shells did roister, like castanets fitting, while limpets moved clearly, and rocks very nearly with laughter were splitting. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. But anyway, there was a poem I didn't write. Never was such a hullabaloo in this world before or since. 'Twas as if heaven and earth were coming together, and all out of Maurice Connor's wonderful tune. In the height of all these doings, what should there be dancing among the outlandish set of fishes but a beautiful young woman, as beautiful as the dawn of day. She had a cocked hat upon her head. From under it her long green hair, just the color of the sea, fell down behind, without hindrance to her dancing. Her teeth were like rows of pearl. Her lips, for all the world, looked like red coral, and she had an elegant gown, as white as the foam upon the wave, with little rows of purple and red seaweed settled out upon it. For you never yet saw a lady, under the water or over the water, who had not a good notion of dressing herself out. That's very true. That'll be Saturday. Up she danced at last to Maurice, who was flinging his feet from under him as fast as hops, for nothing in this world could keep still while that tune of his was going on. And she says to him, chanting it out with a voice as sweet as honey, I'm a lady of honor who live in the sea. Come down, Maurice Connor, and be married to me. Silver plates and gold dishes you shall have, and shall be the king of the fishes when you're married to me. Drink was strong in Maurice's head, and out he chanted in return for her great civility. It is not every lady, maybe. That would be after making such an offer to a blind piper. Therefore, 'twas only right in him to give her as good as she gave herself. So says Maurice. I'm obliged to you, madam, off a gold dish or plate. If a king and I had him, I would dine in great state. With your own father's daughter I'd be sure to agree, but to drink the salt water wouldn't do so with me. The lady looked at him quite amazed, and swinging her head from side to side like a great scholar. Well, says she, Maurice, if you're not a poet, where is poetry to be found? In this way they kept on at it, framing high compliments, one answering the other, and their feet going with the music as fast as their tongues. All the fish kept dancing too. Maurice heard the clatter and was afraid to stop playing lest it might be displeasing to the fish, and not knowing what so many of them may take it into their heads to do to him if they got vexed. That's probably fair. Very fair. The lady with the green hair kept on coaxing of Maurice with soft speeches, till at last she overpersuaded him to promise to marry her, and be king of the fishes, great and small. Maurice was well fitted to be their king, if they wanted one that could make them dance, and he surely would drink, barring the salt water, with any fish of them all. When Maurice's mother saw him, with that unnatural thing in the form of a green-haired lady as his guide, and he and she dancing down together so lovingly to the water's edge through the thick of the fishes, she called out after him to stop and come back. Oh, then, says she, as if I was not widow enough before, there he is going away from me to be married to that scaly woman. And who knows but 'tis grandmother I may be to a hake or a cod. Lord help and pity me, but 'tis a mighty unnatural thing. And maybe 'tis boiling and eating my own grandchild I'll be, with a bit of salt butter, and I not knowing it. Oh, Maurice, Maurice, if there's any love or nature left in you, come back to your old mother, who reared you like a decent Christian. Then the poor woman began to cry, and cried so finely that it would do anyone good to hear her. Maurice was not long getting to the rim of the water. There he kept playing and dancing on as if nothing was the matter, and a great thundering wave coming in towards him ready to swallow him up alive. But as he could not see it, he did not fear it. His mother it was who saw it plainly through the big tears that were rolling down her cheeks, and though she saw it, and her heart was aching as much as ever a mother's heart ached for a son, she kept dancing, dancing all the time for the bare life of her. Certain it was that she could not help it, for Maurice never stopped playing that wonderful tune of his. He only turned the bothered ear to the sound of the mother's voice, fearing it might put him out in his steps, and all the answer he made back was, "Wished with you, mother. Sure, I'm going to be king of the fishes down in the sea, and for a token of luck, and a sign that I'm alive and well, I'll send you, in every 12th month on this day, a piece of burned wood to Trofasca." Maurice had not the power to say a word more, for the strange lady with the green hair, seeing the wave just upon them, covered him up with herself in a thing like a cloak with a big hood to it, and the wave curling over twice as high as their heads, burst upon the strand, with a rush and a roar that might be heard as far as Cape Clear. That day, 12th, the piece of burned wood came ashore in Trofasca. It was a queer thing for Maurice to think of sending all the way from the bottom of the sea. A gown or a pair of shoes would have been something like a present for this poor mother. But he had said it, and he kept his word. The bit of burned wood regularly came ashore on the appointed day for as good and better than 100 years. The day is now forgotten. And maybe that is the reason why people say how Maurice Connor has stopped sending the luck token to his mother. Poor woman. She did not live to get as much as one of them. For what through the loss of Maureen and the fear of eating her own grandchildren, she died in 3 weeks after the dance. Some say it was the fatigue that killed her, but whatever it was, Mrs. Connor was decently buried with her own people. Seafaring men have often heard off the coast of Kerry, on a still night, the sound of music coming up from the water. And some, who have had good ears, could plainly distinguish Maurice Connor's voice singing these words to his pipes. Beautiful shore with thy spreading strand, thy crystal water and diamond sand. Never would I have parted from thee, but for the sake of my fair lady. I didn't expect his mom would die. I figured she would just walk along the shore every day on that year and collect the wood. But it's okay. It's okay. So next week, again, we'll hopefully circle back if I can get a hand on that, because yeah, it looks a little rough, and it looks rough. So if we do not go back to how Thomas Connolly met the Banshee, then next week will be The Lady of Gallerus. So, and it looks pretty long. Sweet. Okay, so I was right in my live yesterday. Okay, so what is today? The 17th, the 24th, October 1st. October 1st. We start Supernatural Forces. So, those of you who are here live for maybe the last time for a little bit, you are going to miss Supernatural Forces. So you are going to have to watch it later. Yeah. But for the rest of us, Supernatural Forces in 2 weeks. And we will finish up Sea Folk and Fairies next week. So please, 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 between now and then, subscribe, share, please, please. Let's get this place jumping. So thank you guys so much for being with me tonight, or tomorrow morning, or whenever you are watching this. I just appreciate you watching. Leave little comments, if you will. Let me know what you liked. Everybody's been really kind in the comments, so I say that with my fingers crossed. We're not jinxing anything, but thank you guys so much, and I will talk to you soon. If not before, I will see you Wednesday. But there may be a little live from a movie premiere on Saturday. You never know.